Hi guys, it's Mrs. Dudley. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. It is Monday, April 20th, 2020. Today I'm going to be talking with you guys about your Wonder Day research project. You can see our target says, I can continue researching my Wonder question by power learning and note taking. A couple things to keep in mind. We know it can take a while to get research. So again, this week, if you are not done with your research, and that means if you don't have good information from 3 different sources, so that could be 3 websites, that could be 1 video and 2 articles, whatever your 3 sources are, if you don't have enough information from those, then we would like you to not do Reading Plus this week, but instead use that as another day for researching, okay? Remember, we're only expecting about 30 minutes a day for each subject. So 30 minutes a day for English once a week probably isn't enough to get your research done unless you're spending some other time outside of that. Also, keep up with your independent reading and let us know the books you're reading. We always love to hear about those. All right, so I am going to talk today with you guys about something called the trail of research. Hi guys, it's Mrs. Dudley. Quinn, say hi.
Hi.
This is my daughter, Quinn. All right, my daughter Harper is recording. Say hi, Harper.
Hi.
Okay, so today I want to give you a little mini lesson to support you some more with your Wonder Day research project. As Mr. Yakabuchi, Ms. Decker, and I have been looking through your questions and your research, we have noticed some things that we think, and so we think this lesson might help you. Today we're going to talk about something called the trail of research. I want you to think about what happens when you log on to your computer and maybe you go to Google and you search for something like Fortnite or whatever it is. Sometimes, or actually what happens every time for me is I go to a website and then on that website there's a link to another website and to another website and then to a video and then to an article and then to a podcast. There's so many different ways that my research can take me. And we call this the trail of research. So today, what I think you need to start doing is considering your research question, your Wonder Day question, and ask yourself, am I following that trail? Because some of you have a great question and you've done one piece of research and you've answered it and you're kind of like, ooh, what do I do now? So hopefully this helps you. So here's my example. I have been obviously interested in the coronavirus and COVID-19. So my Wonder Day question is, what is the coronavirus? So what happened is I first Googled it and I found so much information. And I started to think about like, all right, so what parts of this question do I need to answer to really have a complete picture of the coronavirus? The first thing I wanted to think about is, how did this even start? Like, what is this? So I first started researching with questions like, how did COVID-19 start? Or what is the coronavirus? I found out that it came from Wuhan, China, and probably in a fresh meat and seafood market. Although today there's an article that's saying there's a conspiracy that perhaps it was started in a lab. I'm not sure I believe that, but I wrote that down just to illustrate how kind of one thing leads to another. After I figured out a little bit more, and obviously this is not my actual research, I'm just showing you kind of my trail of research. I also wanted to think about, okay, oops, not this one. Why is it so bad? Like, why is it so dangerous? When I started looking into that, the main thing I found is that it is super contagious, right? And it spreads very easily. And so part of what I thought I needed to research more is the different ways the virus spreads. I also found out that the first case didn't actually even come from Wuhan, China, but it was brought from a traveler from Europe. I thought that was interesting. So that's kind of all related to different ways it spreads and how contagious it is. And then another thing I was thinking about is, man, COVID-19 has had such a big impact on our world. I put results of COVID-19, and I was thinking about researching like stay-at-home orders, like what that means and why does it help. Talking about this idea of masks and why we're now having to wear masks when we're in public, and then the theory or the practice of social distancing. So what you see here is kind of my trail of research. I started here with what is the coronavirus, how it started, and then I went up here to why is it so dangerous, and I ended up being with like, where are we now? Where are the results? So keep the video there. I'm gonna grab a marker. This trail of research now can kind of help me as I continue gathering information and sources. I can't just stop with how it started. Well, I could, but I'm going to tell you that's not going to be exactly what we're looking for on this project. In a minute here, I'm going to go into showing you all of the different expectations for the project, but definitely what we're noticing is some of you need to do some more research and get some more information. And hopefully, if you think about it like a trail of research, that can help you. Now, one more thing I'll say. On this trail of research, there are lots of detours. You are the researcher. You get to decide which trail are you going to follow. I got to decide which trail I followed here. These are the things I really wanted to know more about. And actually, when I get ready to make my project in a few weeks, these are probably the different sections that I'll write about. Okay? Thanks, guys. Looking forward to seeing what you do this week. All right, guys. So now that you've kind of watched me walk through how I create that trail of research, this could be something that really helps you out, okay? So here is my trail of research, just a little up closer, and you can really see how I start with one question and it leads me different ways. I also find it really helpful to organize my note-taking by my trail of research. So I know a lot of you guys have been typing your notes, and if that's working for you, keep that up, that's fine. But for me, something that helps is to make a page that follows my trail of research. So I have one page for just what is the coronavirus, and I'm going to make sure for this source I get information about where it started, how it started, and more specifics about the virus. Why is it dangerous? Remember, that's my next thing on my trail. I'm going to make sure I get info about how contagious it is, how it spreads, and how to prevent the spread. And then my last page would be about kind of the impact it's having on us with the stay-at-home order, wearing masks in public, practicing social distancing. Something else I just thought of that's not even in there is the death toll and how many people have been killed by this terrible virus. So again, you do not have to set your notes up this way, but this could be something that really helps you. I've also included some other examples of trails of research in these slides. But really today, we're hoping that you're continuing your power learning and note-taking using everything you've already learned, really getting all the important information down. More examples. It might help you to take a look at the grading criteria for the project. We'll talk more about this later, but keep in mind as you're getting information, these are things we're going to be looking for. Overall, does your project clearly state and answer your question? Does it have your name? Do you have a page of sources that you used? Did you teach your readers about your topic? And did you clearly put effort into it? Organization. Now, this is where I think the trail of research helps. We are looking for you to introduce your question in a way that makes sense. Are you hooking the reader in? Are you using subheadings or separate sections to tell about the different parts of your research? Really think about this, guys. If you answer your question in one paragraph, you got to go back and follow that trail of research. That's not going to be enough, okay? Got to make sure the order that you share your information makes sense. And then finally, did you work to tell your readers about your question in a way that makes sense? So did you include lots of different types of information like facts, quotes, examples, and definitions? And did you try to make it understandable? We'll be talking more about this grading criteria later, but it might help you if you're tempted to say, I don't want to research anymore. Do you have enough to meet all of these criteria here? All right, guys, these slides will be posted for you. Remember all of this information about power learning and note-taking, and you can definitely go back to your Wonder Day Project Part 2B assignment and keep adding to research there, or you can take notes in your notebook, whatever works for you, but we do want you to continue learning about this question so that next week you're ready to start thinking about what your project is going to look like. Have a great day. You guys don't forget to email, reach out with any questions or support you need.